So welcome back guys. If you're new to this page, please kindly subscribe, like, leave a comment, leave a comment, a compliment, an observation, you know, a view. You can always do that. Here we teach each other. We believe in training each other. uh, and we will be blessed together. Please subscribe to my channel, and by so doing, you will be not only helping me but also helping to reach out to other people. Share this message if you get it. I believe it is a testimony that will change many people. Okay, so after I got that job, I worked for some time. I used to do a lot of traveling, and one day, I was going to a friend of mine. A friend of mine had called me, and he may be watching, he may not be watching, but I know sometimes maybe he will watch it. This, so he called me. He was in trouble. He was in jail actually. He called me some times back, and he told me he needed my help, because he needed me to at least help him get bail. Yeah. So I took up the case. I felt there are so many people he left, and he called to me. He called out to me. I believe there is a reason for everything. And so when he called, I didn't hesitate. I shared with my boss, my then boss, Mr. Moshai. I told him everything, and he permitted me, or he gave me an off, and he permitted to me to go. So I was just going to help. Okay, I was going to help a friend. So I would say I was going to serve. Okay, so the very first time I went, came back, ran some errands, went, I did a lot of traveling, trying to just to help this friend. I will not mention his name because he knows himself, and I will not just mention his name. Okay, so when I went, and for several days, we really worked hard to an extent of, because it was a very sensitive case, which was inclusive of his mother. So to say, I had to really be in between, to intervene and really beg the mom to pardon the son. And once that one was done, and we were given procedures on how to bail him. And so I was going on that fateful day, I was going to bail him. And I thank God, because when you're doing something out of, with no hidden agendas, you will always be open. I'm one very open person. Those who have interacted with me knows that I'm a very, very open person. I don't like beating about the bush. I don't like lies. I don't like just lies. I don't like. So I also sat with my friend, who is also a pastor, and I told him everything. I told him where I want to go, what I want to go and do, and who I wanted to go and bailout. So he knew everything. My pastor knew everything. So that very morning, I woke up. It is something we had even prayed about. I woke up very early because I had to uh, go to the court, go pay the bill, go to where he was being detained, take the receipts, uh, get them stamped, take them back to court for them to write the release or whatever, and then go back again to where he was detained, and so that now I can bail him. So I needed to wake up very early in the morning and to go do that. Remember, this is just a service I'm doing to a friend, to a person who I considered a friend, okay, or to a person whom I considered a child of God, because he had left so many people. So I felt this is God work, so I had to do it. But when I boarded a matatu in the morning, I went to town, and from town, when we took off, right at drive-in, those who know Nairobi very well, on Thika High Road, on Thika Highway, when we got to drive-in, our car got an accident. We got an accident, and it was a fatal accident. It was a terrible accident. On this leg, on my right leg, you remember when I was going in 2013, when I was going to a church function, I broke the same leg. Okay, this time the same leg broke when we got this accident. The same leg broke, but this time it had multiple fractures. Actually, it had 4 fractures. The same leg, 4 fractures. And when I was there, I remember I could not feel my leg. Okay, I could not feel my leg, and I felt I needed to pray and to do a quick prayer. And I said, God, you know I love serving you, and you have called me for nations in accordance to your word. God, what I pray, I refuse to become incapacitated. I refuse to be incapacitated forever. I refuse that. And I waited for people to come and help me out of the wreckage, because the dashboard was here. The whole of the dashboard was here. It was right here. And at my right side, I could see some smoke coming out of the engine. And I felt like this is the end. During that time, so many things ran in through my mind, but I kept the faith. Remember, I cannot feel my leg. So when people came to help me, when I looked back, I saw how people were disfigured. Yeah, people were cut all over. People had cuts all over, and blood oozing from their faces, from their hands, from their legs. It was terrible. It was so terrible. Remember, I was in the front seat. This is a public transport. I was in the front seat. And when I looked back and saw how people were injured, I felt pity for myself. I felt like, God, if those guys who are behind there, that is how they are looking, what about me? Remember, at this juncture, my head got a bang. I banged the windscreen with my head, and some blood came from my nostrils, and the dashboard was, no, the windscreen was full of blood. That's my blood. So I did not know how I'm looking, but I felt, I feared. I thought I'm so disfigured. When I saw the smoke, I started now shouting for help, because I felt like if this car explodes, that's the end of me. And I believe that was the agenda of the enemy. He wanted to finish me there and then, but I thank God for saving my life. So when people tried to open the left door, it couldn't open. And I could not use the driver's door because I was trapped. I was trapped already. So people thought it is wise to pull her from behind, to pull her. But when they were pulling me, they did not know that my leg had already stuck stuck. It was already stuck in between the wreckage. It was stuck. So when they pulled me, the leg, now my knee dislocated. My knee actually gapped, dislocated. That is when I felt the pain and the nerves came back. My God, it was so painful. So I screamed, and people knew that there's something. And so I was gotten out of the wreckage, taken to Kenyatta Hospital. Unfortunately, then there was the doctor had striked. There was doctor's strike then. So I stayed in Kenyatta Hospital. I But when I went there, of course now my brothers had been called, and they came, the pastor and all that, they came, and so many people came, actually. So many people came, and I stayed in Kenyatta for 5 days unattended. Yes, I only could get some painkillers. Yes, I could get some painkillers and some antibiotics, but the leg, it was not touched for 5 days. And I could literally feel the bones, crisscrossing each other whenever I moved to ease myself. And again, I did not get a bed, so I had to sleep down. Yeah, I had to sleep on the floor. Remember, my leg has already broken 4 times, and I could not get a bed. The place was full to capacity, and so we were so many of us who were sleeping on the floor. Okay, so after 5 days, I felt like this is not. This place is not where I'm supposed to be, because I felt I feared. I feared because I could feel the bones, crossing each other whenever I moved. So I requested for what do you call it? I requested to be discharged, but I requested them to put a cast on my leg so that at least what can heal. I stayed with that cast. I went back home. I stayed with that cast for 6 months. When I went back after the X-ray, the doctor told me I have to undergo a surgery. Okay, because the bones were totally shattered. Okay, so I did not now go back to Kenyatta. I opted to go to St. Teresa. No, first and foremost, I went to Ladnan Hospital in Gara. When I went to London, they told me the leg, we have to operate. I did not have money. I did not have insurance. You know, I didn't have anything. So I went back home, and now I had to look for money so that for the surgery. But I got a better option. I went to St. Teresa. Yeah, St. Teresa in Kikuyu. That is where I was operated on. But before I got operated on, somebody, no, they did some test, and they said that I don't have enough blood. Okay. So I had to wait for another 2 weeks for blood to, for them to get my blood type. It was a rare blood type. So on November 19th, I was operated on. No, on November 29th, I was operated on. And I was put an implant, two implants. On December 3rd, I was discharged. And I could go back to the hospital after every 3 days, okay, for dressing. But now, to come to this problem, where the problem of the eye and my mouth came from, after being discharged on that, I was supposed to stay for 3 days. So that on 5th, I was supposed to go back to the hospital. And I went to the hospital on 5th. I was treated and went back home. But when I went back home, my head used to hurt so much. I don't know if it is out of the bang that I had, or if it was because of the anesthesia drug. I did not understand. Although I was told, because of that drug, sometimes I would feel dizzy, and I would feel, heaviness and I was told to take a lot of water, which I used to do. But this headache, it was too much. It was aching me so much until this side and this side used to be very stiff, and I felt so much pain. And remember, this time I am under so much pressure because I'm a single mom. Remember, I have to pay the rent. I have to pay my bills. I have to pay my hospital bills. I have to, I've just been operated on. I'm in a rental house, and things were piling up in me. And unknowingly, I used to be very, very, very stressed. Unknowingly, I did not know that I'm depressed. I went to depression, and I did not know that I am depressed. I did not know that at this juncture I'm already depressed, because I was piling so much. And on 6th, after going back to the hospital on 5th, I went back home. I did not feel like eating or doing anything. I just went back home and I decided to sleep. I took some painkillers. I was taking a lot of medication then, because I remember I was taking medication for blood. I was taking medication for, remember I was added blood before operation. I was taking medication for, antibiotics. I was taking painkillers. I was taking iron, for calcium. I was just taking too much. And in a day, I could, no, at a go, I could take about 12, 12 tablets. Yeah, 12 tablets. So I just was under so much pressure. My son is already in school. When I got the accident, I did not tell him because the following day was his day to go back to school. I got the accident on 24th of August, and the opening day was 25th of August. Yeah, so I did not let him know because I did not want him to go back to school when he was under pressure. So I just let him, and again I talked to a friend, and he was taken to school. And I thank God because I used to travel because of the nature of my job. So I just talked with him. I really compressed my pain, and I talked with him on that night, and I told him, I had to go to this, work, and I did not come back. So just tomorrow you'll be taken to school by my friend. He knows her, and that one was catered for. But deep inside me, that thing was eating me up. Okay, even the fact that I have now to be dependent on friends, on family, on people to eat, for medication, for somebody who was just working and doing her job. This time when you want to take a fruit, you have to be dependent on somebody. Yeah, you have to there has to be somebody there to to take you to the toilet, to help you out. And Madam Lucy, God bless you so much. You really did a great job. I cannot repay you. May God really bless you so much. Lucy in Ruaka, God bless you so much, my dear sister. You are a great friend, and I value so much. I value you so much. God bless you. So I did not know that I sank to depression unknowingly until that very fateful day. Okay? That fateful day that I will never forget. I will never forget that day. When I went to the hospital and I came back, I felt so much pain. I felt, after the dressing, I felt so much pain. I felt tired. I was just feeling a hopeless feeling. I had a very hopeless feeling. Because remember, I've not worked for about 6 or so months. And life has got to continue, unfortunately. For some of us who are not are not employed by government or NGOs or and so on, some of the little money we get, it goes to school, to rent, and the other to food. And the small amount that remains, it goes to transport. And even at that time, you will also be in a debt because not so many people are getting enough salary to sustain them, leave alone getting a policy for their medication or education. So that very fateful day, I went through a lot of pain, a lot. I used to cry so much. I really used to cry so much. And I remember when the year was closing on 31st, I called a friend, and maybe he will be listening. Some of the people, some of my friends, Lucy, I know you know this. Some of the friends knows. There's a friend who called me to wish me a happy new year. And so at that time, I was not audible enough. So that friend thought that, I've changed the way I'm talking. And so I had to explain to him. And he told me, I need to check my back, I need to check my, where I'm coming from. If there's something I did to God that made him discipline me or so. you know, that really hurt me so much, because to some extent I felt like God is very far away from me, and I did not understand why. So I went on repenting, and during that time, that night, actually on the 31st of December, the Lord visited me in a dream, and he gave me a verse in the book of First Peter chapter 3 verses 17. First Peter 3:17, and this is what he said to me. First Peter 3 verses 17. This is what it said. It is better, if it is God's will, to suffer for doing good than for doing evil. For Christ died for sins once for all, the righteous for the unrighteous, to bring you to God. He was put to death in the body, but made alive by the Spirit, through whom also he went and preached to the spirits in prison. So God answered me like immediately, and assured me that it is not what you have done, and there is nothing that you can do that would qualify you, to be punished. Why? Because Christ died for my sins, all of them. And when I became a child of God, all of that was catered for by his death. Okay? And actually, there is no punishment that is equivalent to our sins. So, there is nothing that could have happened to me to equalize the sins that we do. There is no justification before God. It is only by his mercies that we live. So, and here I want to address people. When you see somebody going through pain or going through something in life, stop bragging that season, that it is because of what they have done, that is why they are getting punished, or it is because of what they have not done, that is what they are getting punished. There is nothing you can equate to your sins. There is no amount of pain or suffering that would be equivalent. Okay? Nothing that would be equivalent to your sins. Okay? So God healed my heart then. That is how he healed my heart. So what happened that very fateful morning? What happened?